Welcome back, everyone, to our playthrough of the career mode here in NASCAR Heat 2. So we're coming off of our last race at Charlotte, mile-and-a-half track, where it races extremely narrow, very tight racing there, and we come off with a win. So very excited about that. We had a really good race, some very tense moments. Of course, it's very close quarters there, and we're going to a track in Dover that, while it's only a mile in length, it races with a lot of the same characteristics. Dover is very wide in the corners, giving you room to easily run 2 and 3 wide. The track is plenty wide for it, but once you come off the corners, the corner exit is very, very tight. So it's very hard to even run 2 wide coming off the corner at Dover, especially with the AI and the way they like to move around the track. So you have to be careful, but the difference for me could not be more pronounced. I absolutely love racing at Dover because of the challenges that it presents. You must get the car to rotate at Dover, preferably as much as possible without getting the tail end too terribly loose coming off the corner, which can present its own set of problems. But Charlotte, I don't really enjoy all that much, simply because it just doesn't have a good feel for me. Of course, I'm sure everybody's different, but for me, Charlotte is not one of those tracks I enjoy going to, whereas Dover definitely is. So right now, let's take a quick look before we get into the racing. Quick look at the standings. The point standings are here. We're in second, but we don't really care about the point standings. What we really care about are the playoff standings. And right now, we are in the lead with a nice size lead because we have 4 wins as opposed to 2 wins for our next closest competitors. Of course, in the points themselves, we're only 7 points out of first place there either. So we're having a great season. I mean, absolutely nothing to complain about on that level. And you can see we still have only 6 drivers that have claimed a victory. And again, just sort of projecting forward, if that continues on to the end of the regular season, then after 26 races, we might actually have a driver or 2 that get in on points without a victory. But of course, we'll have to see how all that goes. Taking a quick look at the schedule. In this video, we'll be going to Dover, and then after that, we'll be headed to Pocono and then Michigan. So some very different types of tracks, as we've talked about over the last few videos, that are coming up, and I really like that. Some different types of tracks. Of course, you guys know that I really love the short tracks, but one thing I also love is any track where you can really challenge yourself with some different types of corners, different types of tracks and bankings, and all that type of thing I really enjoy. And of course, Dover and Pocono definitely fit the bill on that because they are anything but your prototypical NASCAR track. All right, so that takes care of the preliminaries. I think it's time to head to Dover. Before we get into the race itself, let's take a quick look at the setup we'll be using, and very familiar to those of you who have been following along with the series. The difference being, in this case, I'm going to put 100 pounds of rear spring split, and I did that at Charlotte as well. Most of the time I've been using 50 pounds, and the reason I've done it here is just to open up things a little bit more and make the car a little bit more fun to drive. Now, not to say that I'm going to use this from here on out, because most likely I'll be going back to 50 pounds or some other amount of rear spring split. But for now, I just wanted to open it up for a few races, have a little bit of fun, and along with that change in the rear springs, I have kept the track bar fairly low at 8 inches on both the left and the right side. So again, should be fun. The car should be a little bit more fun to drive simply because it will turn a little bit better, and we'll see how quickly we can make our way through the field. All right, green flag is out here at Dover. So this will be a 52-lap race, and we'll see how far toward the front we can make it. So as has become customary in our Let's Play series, I did not run any practice or qualifying laps with this setup, so I'm going to have to figure out on the fly what we've got. And already I can tell we are really tight, so the setup is doing its job. It's not going to allow us to carry the speed we need to through corner entry, in particular through the center of the corner. All right, there's DJ Kennington, and once again, the moving chicane. Oh, good gracious. Yeah, this thing is really tight. I love how miraculously the 72 car has no speed in the car at all, but the moment we give him an inch on the bottom, he can hit the burners and drive right by us. So you gotta love the AI sometimes. There you can see us going straight up the track, and there's the 72. He's right back. Alright, so the bottom not working out so well for us right now. I'm going to have to learn exactly where I can get on the gas and how hard in the center of the corner, and the same thing on corner entry. I'm going to have to learn how deep I can drive it in. Who knows, we may be finishing in the 30s in this race. Alright, so we'll try to pass the 72 car for what feels like about the 4th time already. Alright, so I'm trying to use the brakes some on corner entry, figure out this whole thing of staying on the bottom. I can already tell you, I cannot stay in the gas coming off the corner. I have to lift right now, it's just too tight. But those are the things you have to adjust to during the race. Alright, we'll try the high side. Things are getting strung out a little bit here. Oh wow, way too tight on corner entry there. Alright, so the spotter is telling me great looking lap, stay in this rhythm. There is no rhythm right now. Alright, this is the bad thing about being on the high side, is now I'm behind the 43 car with nowhere to go. Alright, so here we are trying to figure out, I would love a way by the 43, or just a little bit of room in front of the 66 where I can. I really don't want to take this 3 wide. But I may not have a choice if we're going to try to get by, because there is no room that's opening up in line, so we'll keep at it and see what happens. Oh, this car is dreadfully tight right now. I'm not even sure I can get to 3 wide. We're sort of hemmed in right now. Yeah, I'm pedaling the gas hard right here. Alright, looks like I'm just going to have to fall back, get in line, and give up on this high side for now, because I cannot get around the 43. The only way to do that would be to try to take it 3 wide, and don't know that I want to do that at this point in the race. Yeah, this thing is just shoving the nose off the corner. I mean, we got plenty of speed to challenge the guys back here, but of course we're running in the very back of the pack right now. So you would expect that we would have some speed. But right now I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the setup. This is exactly the kind of thing that you have to learn. How tight is too tight? How slow is too slow? You know, all those kind of things. How much do we want to open up the setup possibly in the future to add some more speed to it? And I'm not sure we want to open it up at all, because, I mean, granted, we're running 36th position. But for me, all that really matters, I mean, we've gotten plenty of wins and top 5s and top 10s, so what I'm really interested in is just good racing. As long as we can do that, I'll be happy. It's maybe not as sexy as, you know, winning every race or top 5 every race, but good racing is what it's all about, and you can see once again, extremely tight. Alright, let's get into some open air here and see if we can't figure out some marks on the track to use to get the most out of the car. There is definitely some speed here in the car, but I just have to figure out how to get the most out of it. It's not race winning speed, and I don't even think it's top 10 speed. Alright, good run off the corner here, and you can see we're easily faster than the 7 on corner exit. Alright, love hearing that all clear. Alright, not bad. And again, you can see whenever we get good runs through the corners, we are easily faster than all the guys we're racing around back here. So we'll see how that continues and get as far up through the pack as we can with the number of laps left. You can see just how much quicker we were than LaJoy right there going into the corner. Almost got into his rear bumper on entry. There we go. Clear, clear is the message. A little bit more empty track. And already we're closing in very quickly. Ooh, really tight again on exit. Alright, let's see what we've got for these guys ahead. You can see they're all fairly glued to the bottom. So I'm going to give the top another try. I know it definitely didn't work out for us the first time around. It'll depend. If we come up on some guys running too wide, then it definitely will not work out in our favor. But as long as they're single file, it'll give us a chance to see what kind of speed we've got compared to the guys we're racing around. And you can see we've definitely got a lot more speed than these guys. But now we're coming up on the 5 car. So what I'm hoping for here is a little bit of room so that I can get back down to the bottom. Yeah, I like how he says the bottom is clear. It might have been clear for a fraction of a second, but not long enough for me to actually hop in there. Ooh, I was hard on the brakes there. Oh, thought I was going to be able to clear right there. Did not happen. Wow. Somebody got into us there on corner entry. It was really tight, so I don't know how they could keep from it, quite frankly. Again, I'm just looking for a way to get down back in line because the 5 car is running some terrible laps right now. The AI apparently just does not like to be on the high side. It's like they don't know what to do up there. Alright, here we go. We're going to have a good run off the corner. Can I get down? No, I cannot. That was the goal. Alright, there we go. Oh, good gracious. Now the 3 car pulls up in front of us. So that's one of the problems with running the high side is you have slower cars that can come right up in front of you and just kill all of your momentum. But if we can keep them out of the way, we can make up some room. Oh, no way. That was some more of those, the 3 turning on the jets there. Alright, so we're going to try to get down to the bottom if I can keep the car down here long enough. Some good hard racing with the AI right here. I like this. This is when I say that it ultimately doesn't matter to me a whole lot what position we're in. Oh, good gracious. Ouch. We're getting batted around now. Well, we've got plenty of speed right now, but just nowhere to go. Ouch. Wow. There's the 5 car again. Oh, no way. Okay, that's getting a little bit irritating. That as soon as I slip up off the bottom for 1 second, these guys hit the hyperdrive and drive right back in there. Alright, we're back to the bottom, and let's see if we can stay there for more than a half of a corner. Oh, good gracious. This is when, as a driver, I would be screaming at the crew chief, saying we've got to loosen this thing up. It's got to rotate. But of course, I'm also the crew chief, so I know exactly why it's not rotating. So going to the high side, we showed plenty of speed. That wasn't an issue. It's just the question of if we ever run up on anybody that's running 2x2, we've got no shot. Because then we have to basically either fall back in line on the inside, which means losing all the positions we worked so hard to gain, or trying to force it in 3 wide. And that has its own set of problems. And of course, we've also tried that. Alright, so we're up to 25th. And 36 laps out of 52. Ooh, watch out. And you can see these guys are all right on the bottom, even on the straightaway, which is completely unrealistic and would destroy your corner entry. But that's going to make it very hard for us to pass. And of course, you can see right up in front of us, they are running 2x2, so it's the worst of everything. They're running the bottom on the straightaways all the time, and they're running 2x2, giving us essentially nowhere to go until they straighten their situations out. And once again, there you go. You see 37 was trying to get back to my inside. I was not going to allow that. So right now I'm just trying to let these guys figure it out. Then as soon as they get single file, we'll try to move through and get position. And the 5 is just, maybe it's all the time he spent on the outside earlier in the race. He's just determined that he is not going back up to the high side. Yeah, I'm using quite a bit of brake on corner entry, just trying to keep it down as low as I can, and it's still not working very well. Alright, so at this point we have 12 laps to go. And I'm pretty happy with the racing, aside from the jets that these guys seem to have mid-corner to get underneath you. This has been some fun racing. Lots of tense moments, lots of getting stuck on the outside with nowhere to go, but that's part of racing. Stuff you just have to deal with, as frustrating as it may be. That's why you have those segments on TV like Radioactive that let you hear all the frustration that the drivers incur during the race. Oh wow, we really closed in on Ryan Newman there going into the corner. Alright, this should get us into the top 20 if we can get by him. Of course, going into the corner as low as we are gives us a terrible entry. So we'll see if we can pass him. Alright, there you go. A little extra gas before mid-corner, trying to clear him. And now we're in the top 20. That's working hard for a top 20 position right there. Took us 44 laps. Now we've got a little bit of empty track in front of us, and we'll see what we can do with it. We're running low on laps, of course. Ooh, tight, tight, tight. Alright, so these two guys in front of us are racing pretty hard, which is what you would expect. Hopefully they can... Ooh, watch out. Alright, let's see if we can set him up coming off the corner. Alright, that worked out perfectly. At least it works well until you can't keep the car down on corner entry, and then you lose all of that you just worked so hard to gain. Alright, pedaling this thing as hard as I can, trying to make this pass on the outside. Trying to leave him a little bit of room on the bottom, since I wasn't sure we were going to be clear. There we go. So we finally got him clear. We're up to 18th. Just a few more laps remaining. The key to Dover, as with really every track, is you got to get into the corner nice and carry the speed in, but then once you get to the center of the corner, the car's got to rotate. If the car does not rotate, you cannot maintain speed off the corner, and that's really where we are. We're terrible on corner entry because the car is so tight that I'm having to use a lot of brake, and I'm having to lift earlier than I want to just to get the car into the corner decently well. And then to make matters worse, the car doesn't rotate in the center, so we lose more speed there. Alright, right now I'm not worried a whole lot about Elliott Sadler. There's nobody right on our tail. And we have one more lap to go. Alright, so there we go. We finish off a very fun race. Very frustrating, but that's part of the fun. Very fun race. We come home 18th. Yeah, I'll definitely take that. That was a hard-fought 18th. All right, we'll pick up our wonderful winnings. That will now push us on the verge of getting over 15 million. So you can see there the point standings. Again, those don't really matter. So the fastest lap, once again, I have no idea. I was not looking at lap times, so I have no idea how close to that we were or how far away from that we were. So all right, so the breakdown for Dover, overall I call it a good success. Now granted, we had plenty of room there to make the car faster and move our way up through the field, looking for maybe a top 15, top 10, and so on. But overall that was fun. Very frustrating to drive a car that tight, but again, those are the breaks when it comes to racing, and I would much prefer that to an easy victory any day of the week. So I am very happy with those results, and in our next video, it'll be on to Pocono, so that should be a lot of fun. Very odd-shaped track, only 3 corners instead of 4. I'm looking forward to it. For now, that'll do it for this video. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more NASCAR Heat 2.